Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, like this light right here that you're seeing. Seekers and sojourners of truth. The 144, chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. Reporting to you live from none other than the fifth dimension. I am akilahtextri in the divine energy essence of it all, right? AKA celestial earth. That's right. I'm owning it. Celestial in the earth at the same darn time. Peace, love, and light to you all. Right, as I'm greeting you in this light, I'm literally like, I have to show you this light, because those of you who've seen this before, I've done a video where you've seen this light where you can see the circumference of the green, the green light rays coming from the sun, and you can literally see the purple coming in. Let me see if I could get it at its angle. Okay, coming in from the bottom, from here on up. The first time I had this, it was coming from this way, literally across, straight across. So you know we're at a different angle. This was maybe a month ago. You're seeing it coming up from the bottom now. Let me see if I can get right in I have to position it. There it is, that purple that you're seeing. So perfect for what I'm about to talk about with these angles of light. Do you see that angle of light that it is coming from? From here, it's coming from like a, what would you call, depending on what way you're looking at this, from a southeast direction. Before, it was coming directly coming from the east or the west, depending on what angle, but what way the camera is capturing this angle. But you see the light, you see the many rays of light. Ooh, look at that right there, coming from the green or straight through. Like, I love playing with the light. This is like, now you see me, now you don't. But you see the rays of light that's always there. So this is ideal in what I'm talking about as the ray of light, right? Now I can't get it out. Like, I was trying so hard to get it into focus, and now I'm moving it to get it out, and it's like, nope, the ray's light is here, the ray of light is here, and you called on it. These are the many angles of light. So the topic is angels of light. Angels of light are angles of light, and I want to talk to this is like the part 2 to the one that I did. I believe it's the last one where I was talking about the transmissions of light, and I wanted to make sure I speak about the transmissions of light, understanding how the light comes from the galactic center through our server as the sun, and to us on earth, on daughter earth, mother daughter or earth, depending on how you look at it, right? She's mother earth to us. She is daughter earth to the universe, right? So understanding that, if you didn't get a chance to see it, go back and look at transmissions of light to even get a better grasp. Boy, the way the words be coming out. Grip, grasp or grip of angles of light. Angels of light are angles of light, y'all. I know when I got this transmission, when I got this, it was like, right? It was said to me before, but I didn't get it in the way that I got it before. Like, I've heard, you know, when you have wordplay and you're like, angles, ooh, angels, angles. Like, okay, I got that wordplay. But to understand, overstand, and understand that the messages that we get, and I don't know how I missed it, because I've always been talking about how we get messages through the sun. I've been getting downloads just by sitting in the sun. Those who have sat in the sun, you know what I'm talking about, because the sun gives us information. We appropriate that information as food, like the plants do. And that's why if you sun gaze a lot, you will notice that you tend not to be as hungry, or it's easier to fast and detox. As right now, I'm in my detox to detach. Holla at me if you want to join. We are in our first week. We are in our first week still, which is the transition week. So we're not fully in the strength of it. So if this is something for you, message, email me and let me know so you can get the link. Anyhow, as I say that, before I go into this, as I say that, if you made it this far, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare, bring in the comments, leave emojis. Thank you for those who even just leave a bunch of heart emojis, simply to help keep the algorithms going, right? So now that I got this, let me put it down. Let me put it on the hook. Put it on the hook, right? And this light, I'm loving this light. I know it's messing up my visual of catching me clearly. All right, let me see if I could bring it over some, because I'm feeling this light, especially speaking about the angles of light. So bear with me. It may not be much clarity on the visual, but however, it is bringing the message through. So angles of light. What am I saying when I'm talking about angles of light? Angels of light are angles of light. Because most messages that we need to get, that we receive from angels, a lot of us say like archangels, angels that come, spiritual guides and things like that, right? Most of us are saying, oh, an angel has seen us. It's open. Most of us have saying, oh, an angel has come, right? And really it's an angle has come, right? And I know some of us are like, what are you talking about? But it really is fractures of light that are coming through the transmissions of light, through coming from the galactic center and through the sun, our server, as I just mentioned. So it's understanding that as these messages comes, these transmissions, they're bringing different messages in many different ways, multiple dimensions, everything. So when we get information, we're truly getting them. And this is for my 5D people. This is for really my higher people who have been getting messages, and you may understand what I mean by different codes of light. Like, especially if you understand light codes and light transmissions, you will really understand how these messages come through in this manner. And how a lot of us still may say, oh, I've seen this angel. And I'm going to explain that as it was shown to me, because I was like, well, how do you explain someone who actually sees an apparition or an actual angel? And everything is according to our perception, right? I don't want to say it doesn't exist, but it exists in the reality of our scope, of our perception, of our images that we hold, and the ability to understand and receive messages through a messenger, right? This is why we need guides. This is why we have the gods and so forth, because it's the ability to receive the message. And a lot of times as human beings, as 3D beings, and I'm talking about from before right now, way back in time, as third dimensional beings, right? It is for us to, we're very visual, very tangible. So we need to receive messages in a way that we can tangibly receive the message, right? A message usually comes with a messenger, right? So a lot of us, it's hard to just rely on the intuitive connection to the light and the light codes that you get that drop in you, because people will confuse that with themselves and say, oh, but that's from me. That's not from it's like they need an actual messenger. So these light codes, this is how intelligent the universe is. It's according to our level of understanding, right? That's why they say God doesn't give you more than you can bear. We weren't ready for angles of light. We could only handle messages through angels of light. We needed to have a physical message, like some type of visual. When I say physical, because even as angels are usually not literally physical that you can touch them, but I say physical in the sense that you have something tangible, right? Whether you've seen them in a dream, whether they appear right before you, because we need some type of appearance. We need some type of apparition. We need something to appear before us, right? Most of us, right? Right now, not so much. And this is why a lot of people, a lot of you who may be saying, I'm not hearing from my guides right now, or I'm not seeing, it's not that they're not there, it's that you've evolved to the point that you don't need that training wheel anymore. You don't need that particular visual. And now you need to trust the universe for what it actually is. The angles of light, the messages that come through the light. It's time for us to evolve to the next level where we understand that the messages that we get are through the angles of light, right? And these light codes, these angles of light still have, archetypal energies, right? So there's different ones. This is why you can say like Archangel Michael. It's really the archangel, Michael. Like it's that energy that comes through that, and it's the way that you understand. It's just like some people may have, I'm still trying to adjust the light so you can have a clear visual. There we go. The light is like, don't want to go. That's okay. Keep the message coming. um, Keep my angles of light coming. And so some of us may have connections to, let's say, the orishas, the ifas, the you know, the mami wata, the Oshun, and things like these are all archetypal energies. Ogun, or it may be the Kemetic gods. It may be Ma'at. It may be Aset, Asar. It may be Jehuti. Like these are all Jehuti. I said Jehuti, Jehudi, which is one of my favorites because that's the messenger. Message. It's like I could see it popping in. Message, right? So these are all avenues of light. When we get these messages, even our ancient ancestors, like there had to be a way the Magi's and some of the higher ones understood, more likely they understood these light transmissions. However, to explain it to the masses who are not quite on that level, they need a physical, a tangible source of information. Like, where did we get this? Where did you reference? Where do we go to reference this? So they need to tie that archetypal energy to a tangible, you know, existence, which hence the gods or the demigods, you know, or the whatever it is, the beings, the angels. Angels are usually what we're really looking at. A lot of people are like, oh, my guardian angel. It's your guardian angle. It's the angle of light that you have come through, right? Even your, and these angles apply to your natal chart. These angles of light apply to our daily cosmology, right? As the celestials travel through time and space, there are angles of light. That's why you hear the degrees, right? This planet is at how many degrees in this place? And all it means is these are at certain degrees where the light bends, right? It is at this angle of light. It is at this angle of light, and through this angle of light at this many degrees, this is the message that you're going to get, right? And all of them are given a message, each and every planet, this many degrees, this one says this one says that, and they correlate, right? And so think of that with your natal chart as well as the everyday chart, right? I know some people may be like, this is a click. I get it. If it ain't for you, as I always say, if it does not apply, let it fly. I understand, overstand. I get it and understand. But this is for those, this is why I said these are for those who are evolved to a certain degree where you know light transmissions, you know light codes. So this is not foreign to you, right? So with that, let me share the download with you. This is the information that I have that I could share. And then we will go from there. If there's more to speak on, which there's some more, like there's some more light codes coming through. So angels of light, let's know this. This is like one of those times where I did the video of elements are directions, right? This is like a whoa type of thing, like next level stuff. Angels of light, angles of light. See, I'm so used to it now. I know of it as angels of light first and foremost now, like it's been coded in me. So angels of light are angles of light, okay? So the angels of light, the angels of light that we speak of, now I got a little cloud to give me a little little clarity so you can see me now. The angels of light that we speak of are really angles of light that transit through our source center, the sun, which operates as our server and CPU. It's like the central system, and the CPU through which all information passes, right? Our angels that guide are our messages. So the angels that guide us are our messages in the light code information energy that can also appear as messages of apparition for visual aid according to our interpretation or what we are attuned to. As I explained earlier, these angels of light are coming in at different angles and at varying degrees according to what we see. Therefore, our visibility is dependent upon our position of perception. So what do I mean by that? Our visibility is depending on what our angle of perception is. So meaning, where are we? Just individually and collectively on the earth. The earth has certain angles of light depending on our perception of where we are in the stars, in time and space, right? While we're in space, as time is moving, as we are vessels in time, I have to do another video on that. We are vessels in time. As we are vessels in time, and we are time, right? Time is our definition. We define time. We are time. So as we are time moving through space, depending on what position we are in, it's our position of perception. So our perception is according to our position. Where are we, right? And this is from the macro to the micro. Even just in dealing with everyday lives, your perception is according to your position. What are you positioned in? What are you standing on? You know how they say, I stand on business, or I stand 10 toes down. What are you standing 10 toes down on? What are you standing on business on? What are your principles that you are standing on or under? What is that position? Because that position determines your perception. So it's depending upon your position of perception. So where are we? Where's the earth? And that determines the messages of the different celestial bodies, the other surrounding planets, where they are at the varying degrees that angles the light that says, this is the message. This is why astrology is what it is. This is why in cosmology, as I like to call it, while people can read what's happening, they're reading what the angles of light are telling them at varying degrees, whether they're aware of it or not. They're probably not aware that they're reading angles of light. They just think they're reading the charts. The chart says this, and that's fine too, because the chart explains the angles of light at its varying degrees, right? So that's to explain that. These angles of light come through the many dimensions as fractors of light, different fractions of the light, right? And appear to us through a solar perspective. This is why I said, depending on where the sun is angling the light, through a solar perspective that aligns with the 12 gates through which the houses of principles as gods and deities, all of these principles that we have, and I've mentioned that before, they frame this fractor of light and aims it in the directions of guidance for us to receive. So these principles, right, these gates, it's like a prism, y'all. It's like the gates are around us, the 12 houses, the 12 gates, and it depends on where each one is. And it's like when it's lined up with a certain principle, right, that is helping to guide the information in this way. It tells you what this information is saying, and that information is saying at what degrees that correlates with the other one at this degrees, and what are they saying together, right? What are they saying, excuse me, even if it's more than two, you know, what are they saying collectively? What are the angels singing? This is the chorus. These are the angels that are singing, right? These are our guiding angels, see? These are guiding angels that have come to help us with the transmissions of light that we're getting with these accelerated frequencies. So especially right now, while the frequencies are accelerating, we're getting more and more transmission. So we have to be able to read these angles of light. So this is why it's imperative for those of us who have evolved to a certain degree. This is why it's important for us to take the training wheels off and not just sit here and wait on the messenger. Like, I need to see my angel. I need to see or hear my guide. It's to the point where we need to be quicker in translating the missions, translating the transmissions of light that are coming through at the many different angles. So translating the angles of light, the transmissions that are coming through, it's for us to translate the angles of light, right? If that makes sense, right? So these are, like I said, they're coming through the many dimensions as fractures of light. And when I say fractures, it's like when you think of a fraction, right? There's this whole piece, but you're getting this fraction, and each fraction is about so many degrees. It's kind of like that. So when I say coming from a solar perspective, it's like you have the whole sun, but there is a fracture of light coming from the sun that is hitting that house at this many degrees, if that makes sense. And that gives that much information in the next part. So there's these fractals of light that are coming through to the planet and even to us, right? And on a soul level, I probably have to do another video to go deeper into that, the fractals of light in our soul. That's another, you know, correlation as the fractals of light come through the ethers and how it speaks to the fractals of light in our soul, right? So that sounds like a whole nother, you know, I'll get on that one because I'd have to break that down, what it looks like in our soul at multiple dimensions, right? It fractures us, the fractions of our dimensional self, so to speak. It has always been this way, right? This is when I was getting the message. This ain't nothing new. It has always been this way. Only now it is important that the awakening ones know the mechanics or the inner working of the angels as messengers, right? Since they are evolving and rapidly, they are evolving rapidly, will no longer see it as they did before. This is why I was saying earlier, you're not seeing, where's my angels? Where's my God? Where's this? Because as we're evolving rapidly, it's not going to come in that way. So we need to move with the evolution of our soul and be able to receive these angles of light. It was necessary for them to see, right? This was before them, meaning our ancient ones or whoever before that, before time. It was necessary for them to see messengers as angels before, as the human consciousness could not conceive how fractures of light could bend angles to carry the messages in this manner. There was more of a need for tangibility to perceive in order to receive. So we needed that tangible aspect, as I was saying earlier, right, in order for us to perceive what it is we need to perceive so that we can even receive the message. Now, through the soul ascensions of the evolving mind, the consciousness has expanded and opened to the more abstract details and inner understandings of the universe within the mind, right? So let me say that again so we really understand that. Now, through the soul ascensions of the evolving minds, the consciousness has expanded and opened to the more abstract details and inner understandings of the universe within the mind as esoteric knowledge within metaphysical wisdom. So we've been open more as we evolve. We've expanded. This is a whole thing about expanding into the 5D consciousness. When you expand into this consciousness, and some of us have expanded into the 6th dimension, the 7th dimension of our souls, as I have. I'm a little bit more beyond the 5th dimension of my soul, right? I'm still in 5D in the earth, but some of us have expanded beyond the 5th dimension of our soul, and those will probably be able to more understand. The more we expand in that conscious, we open up to the abstract details, which 6D is definitely more about existing in the knowing, right? And 7th dimension is more about let's say the return to completion, or what I call manifestation, which manifestation because you are existing in the knowing. So it's really just expanding and being able to understand the abstract details, right? And all of that is within the universe of the mind, and how the universe within the mind works as esoteric knowledge, inner knowledge, and that metaphysical wisdom, meaning beyond the physical, right? So, and if you can understand more of the metaphysical wisdom, right? I'm not just speaking regular metaphysics. Some people understand metaphysics, but they may not have the wisdom in the metaphysics with the esoteric knowledge that they have. So those who do, they can really look beyond the physical. And remember I said physical, we had to have that physical apparition. We had to be able to have some kind of tangibility. So this is a wisdom that goes beyond, really beyond that tangible, right? So the transmissions of light are restored, right? This is where at this point, when you're at this point, the transmissions of light are restored upon us, right? Restored, in whatever way you look at that word, right? They're stored again within our soul, and restored as in like reestablish, like restore back to you know, the origins, because this is what we come from. We come from the transmissions of light, but now we're being restored, meaning even restored in our memory complex, Our entire memory complex, collectively or individually, is being restored. Right? This is why some are saying, as I said earlier, this is why some are saying that they are not hearing from their angels or messengers. They have evolved to the point where the mind no longer needs the tangible resource of light and can perceive the angles of light as transmission of energy. As the light frequency accelerates, we must be able to receive the potency of the light density in our mind-body complex in its purest, truest form to avoid delays and stalling in our receptors of our bodies. So that was deep right there. The last part, I was like, that was it. I had to just get that part out. And I'll do my best to remember to type this in the description, so in case it went kind of fast, you can have it visibly to read. I know I didn't do that with the transmissions of light, so I'm going to also see if I can put the information on the transmissions of light in there as well. So those of you who've seen it, you can probably go back to the description if you want to read that download transmission that I share with you. I do my best to share some of these downloads in the description so that you have it, because this is how I get my downloads. Everyone gets it in other ways. I'm a writer. I'm Tahuti. Like, I've been running from it. I was told this a long time ago and I've been running from it. But I found that in receiving these downloads, most of the times I get them when I'm sitting outside with pen and paper and I'm starting to write something, and it's like the download just jumps in and the pen just starts going. And if it's like the information just, especially if I'm sitting in the sun, the information just, and then I would just start transcribing. I guess you could say I'm like a scribe. I transcribe. Like, some people get downloads of just in their head, and sometimes I get it, but my main mode of downloads is through transcribing. So I have books of so many folders from the past 2 years when downloads have really picked up with me at the dawn of the 5D independence from 2022, right? When I started sharing them. So I digress. I say all of this so that a lot of us understand why we're not seeing these the angels that we think we need to see, because you are evolving, right? It's time to take those training wheels off, right? And know that instead of angels, they're angles of light, and they can still be your angels. I want to be clear. I'm not taking that away from anybody. You may still see some, right? It's not to say they don't exist. It is according to our degree, our perception, what we may need to see and hear in that moment. It's like I kind of get the feeling that the energies are, something has amped up, especially probably since the summer solstice around this time within this season. Something is kind of amped up, and it's like pulling us up to be more responsible, accountable as the season that we're in. And it's like it's really kind of pulling us up to it's like a test, if you will. They want to see it, or they, us, our higher selves are bringing us up to say, okay, let's take off the training wheels. Let's see what you can see, what you can do, what you can receive. So it's like that kind of thing is happening. So some of us, it may feel slowed down, the dreams and so forth, the messages, but it's because it's calling you to get the messages through understanding the transmissions of the light, the angles of the light, and knowing how to position yourself to receive the angles. I would advise some of you to get in the sun more, because as the sun is our server, as it's been highlighted, it's our server. Get in the sun and allow that information. Just sit with it. If you don't know what to do, go to the beach, go to a quiet place, a quiet park. Sit where all the 4 elements are, is what I would suggest. Like the sun, the water, like sit by a lake where you can ground, take off your shoes and be with the earth. You can feel the breeze, you can see or hear the water, and you can feel the sun. All 4 elements, all 4 corners. See, this is why we need to be at 4 corners of the earth. It doesn't mean go to literal locations. 4 corners of the earth are the 4 elements of the earth, which are the 4 directions of the earth, right? Like a compass, north, south, east, west. So we need to center ourselves within the 4 corners, in the center of the 4 corners, so to speak, right? So where the cross meets, right? But I would suggest sitting somewhere where you have all 4 elements. And that kind of calls in the energy, and just sit in the stillness. If you're a writer like myself, sit with a pen and a paper and just start writing anything and see what comes, see what messages come. If it just comes and you drops inside of you like that, just sit in that essence, sit where the four corners meet, where the four elements are, right? And as the four elements are directions, sit in your four elements, sit in your four directions, get the transmissions, and practice. I would say this is a way to train yourself to practice getting the transmissions through the angles of light without the need of a actual angel. As we say, it's time for us to take off those training wheels, right? And then I get the sense that as we do that from time to time, we'll also still get some, if the message needs to come and we really need to get the message, we're going to get it in the way that we can get it, right? But it's like we're being trained right now. It's like going through the academy. Like you're being trained to really have this insight without having the crutch that we've had before, with the understanding of I need it from angel this, angel that, right? We don't need the tangible apparition. Is for us to really understand the purity. That's why it says in its purest and truest form. We need to really be able to have the potency of the light, because the light, the more it's accelerating, the quicker that we need to translate it, right? So as well as what I've mentioned before, we do need to still process our emotions to clear our channels so that the light can pass through. See, there's multiple dimensions to this. That's one thing that we need to be doing. And another thing is this part is taking those training wheels off and moving that. It's like a filter. It's like the angels are a filter. So it's like move that filter out of the way, so that the pure messages that are coming through the angles of light, when we understand it in its truest form, then we get it in its purest form, right? And that way we avoid any delays or stalling in our receptors as we're receiving information. We avoid that. That way we catch up with the speed. That's what I mean. Because if we avoid the delays, then we have less, we have less issues with the speed. It's coming at a certain, as we say, the frequencies are accelerating. It's faster and faster. So to avoid the delays while this information is coming in faster, remove the filter. Does that make sense? Right? So I'm not taking anybody's angels away from them. The angels exist in the sense that the angles exist. But the closer you get to the simplified form, it's kind of like math. Get to the simplified form. Like you want to strip it of all that extra stuff and get to the simplified form. So I'm going to leave that there. Faithfully, this has shed some light on the angles of light that we have always known as angels, and be able to, and can still be your angels, because sometimes it's hard for people to just switch gears like that. Like, understand that it's one and the same. It's just a matter of receiving it in its simplified, purest form to get it faster, right? So that's my take on the angels of light, our angles of light. And I suggest that we all, embrace as much of it as we can. The more we unfold in our minds and our cosmic design and all of that, understanding our place in all of this grand design, that we can transmute, transmit. That's what I really want to say. We can transmute too. We need to be able to transmute the other stuff, the old stuff, so that we can receive and be able to transmit more light, be transmitters as well, right? Because we're like mini transmitters, depending on what we get through the transmissions, right? The missions that are coming through, that are in transit, as I said before. So allow yourself to embrace that, and just know that, these angles of light are coming to bring us so much more, right? It's some changing times, y'all. I find it exciting, but take it how you take it. Take what resonates with you and work with it in the way that you can. That the angels are our angels. The angels are our angels, and in that receptor of it, be able to embrace it, right, and share that light. We are the light of the world. Transmit it. So with that, Any reminders? The calendars. I will remind you of the calendars. They're still out. And what else? The detach, the detox, the detach. I'm doing that for those who are still interested. Within this week, we're in the first week, as I've mentioned earlier. So if you made it this far, or if you jumped in late and you missed the first part, I'm telling you now, we're still in the first week. If you want to be a part of Detox to Detach, you'd have to leave something in the comments, either email me, as my email would be in the description. And that's it. Anything, if you have any questions or comments on it, feel free. I will, be glad to share some more, or shed some more light on the angles and angels of light. Thank you for those of you who have been watching, who have been supporting, who have been likes. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare. Leave any emojis. Leave some emojis of light if you don't know what else to leave. Light, 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 light. Light up the sunlight, whatever kind of light. And with that, loving you all in this new dimensional 5D, as always. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, and light. Angels of light.